Hello, this is Edward Lambert at the Effective Demand Research, and I want to present a new equation that I'm working on. And what you're looking at is a plot of capacity utilization against employment. So you see here that you have 80% employment, 84% employment, all the way up to 100% employment of the labor force. And over here you have all the way up until 100% of capital in the economy. And these numbers you see out here come from an equation to assess demand from labor share and the productive capacity. So you basically have total productive capacity demand subtracting out production based upon capacity utilization and employment. I'll show you the equation later, but I want to show you its effects right now. At the crisis, at the bottom of the crisis, unemployment fell to 10%, which basically is 90% employment. And capacity utilization fell to around 66%. So here, the economy was here. And then you see that the numbers start increasing. 61.19, 61.53, 61.4. The numbers start increasing in this direction. So what happened was the economy started to employ more capital as the profitability, this is really a measure of profitability, of the ability of the economy to increase with profit incentive, because there's demand there giving incentive to increase the economy. So the economy is increasing 62.1, 62.13, 62.21, 62.38, 62.41, 62.42, and then it starts to drop. So the economy is heading towards this particular plot, this particular area in the plot, which corresponds to an 80% capacity utilization, and on this graph, about a 6% unemployment rate. 100 minus 6, 94. But now look what happens from here. If the economy wants to progress from the 62.42, it doesn't want to employ more capital utilization. We see this in historical records. Capacity utilization just stops before the end of the business cycle. So if you start employing more people, okay, it's profitable to employ more people, drop the unemployment rate by 2%, 62.5. So you move from here to here. But then, all of a sudden you realize it's profitable to use less capital. And here it's, if you use even more labor, try to get to a 2% unemployment rate, you see that it's profitable to use less capital. And you start heading in this direction. So these higher numbers over here at 62.85. So the general direction of the business cycle is to progress to this point, and then it progresses backwards. And here's the important key to this chart. When the economy is progressing backwards towards this more profitable state, you're producing a recession because you're using less capital. You're trying to employ more people, but by using less capital, you're triggering a recession. So the natural process of reaching for more profit by employing more people produces the trigger for a recession. This is an amazing graph for me because it shows that the recession is actually a process of reaching for more profits. It goes forward, the economy recovers by employing more capital, and then in order to reach for more profits, it contracts. To me, that is a whole different view of how a recession can take place. Now I simply want to show you what the equation looks like in three-dimensional form. Here you can see the equation. I'm using roughly the marginal factor productivity 50. I just rounded it to 50. And here's the equation where X would be, say, the unemployment rate, and Y would be the capacity utilization rate. And you can look at this equation here, but the XY is basically total demand possible, and then you start subtracting out um, the production, and as the labor share drops, these coefficients will change. But now I just want to show you what the graph looks like. This is the graph of the economy. It looks kind of like a cobra, but you can imagine that as capacity utilization is increasing here, the economy is producing more. It's becoming more profitable. And if you can see that little dip, that little valley at the top, that's what produces the economy to grow to that point. And then as it tries to rise up this little rise right there, as it tries to rise up that little rise to get more profit, that's when the recession occurs. And then it falls back. Falls back down the curve and starts the cyclical process like that around this curve, on this little portion of the curve. And the labor share affects where these maximum points are for capacity utilization and unemployment. So just wanted to send that along and put this video up to show the equation I'm working on.